We are in Chennai right now at the Chennai Grand Masters 2025, the third edition of Chennai Grand Masters, this time sponsored by QuantBox. And we have Grandmaster Vidit Gujrathi who makes his way to the board, and Vidit is playing the second time here in Chennai. He played in 2024. It wasn't a great event for him. He finished at the bottom of the table, and now he's here, in fact, playing a classical chess tournament after a very long time. Vidit has played the last classical event in November 2024. Wow, that's almost 9 months ago. And his opponent for today, the first round, is none other than Dutch number 2 player Jorden van Foreest. Jorden, known for his creative opening play, his amazing style of aggressive chess. He is going to play with the black pieces here, and it's going to be super exciting for all of us to follow this game. Jorden van Foreest has been also member of the team of Magnus Carlsen in his World Championship match as a second. And Vidit, both players adjusting their pieces. Vidit did play in the candidates in 2024. Then he got married, and now handshake, and we are ready to go. Let's begin here. This, dear friends, is the ambit recap of the day. Vidit opens the game with 1d4. And Jorden, playing with the black pieces here, goes for knight to f6. Vidit now has to decide whether he goes for the London system. No, he goes for the main line with c4. And Jorden responds back with g6. Now this move takes the game in exciting territory. Look at Vidit's time. He has 1 hour 30 minutes and f3 played after nearly 8 minutes of thought. He's going to play e4, grabbing space in the center. Bishop goes to g7, and we are not going to have a Grunfeld with d5. Vidit will capture the space in the center with e4. Yes, he plays it. Pawn to e4 played. And now Jorden pushes his pawn to d6. The King's Indian defense here. The Zamish variation. Vidit is not a big exponent of this. He brings his knight out to c3. He loves to play more positional lines with g3, the fianchetto system. So here, playing this is definitely risky. Jorden castles. And what does Vidit do now? There are 2-3 ways to play. You can go knight e2. Yes, he plays the knight ge2 line. Bishop e3 is also possible. But he plays his knight to e2. Now keeping flexibility to put the bishop on e3 or on g5. Like if you play e5, bishop g5 is a very simple, decent move. So knight bd7 played here by Jorden. And Vidit brings his bishop out to e3. You can see how white has built this nice formation. Goes going to go queen d2 and then long castle here. Pawn to a6 played by black. And Vidit brings his queen up. The queen goes to d2. And now pawn to b5, striking on the queen side. It's very exciting. A pawn sacrifice here. I believe Vidit should try and avoid taking it with bishop h6 or h4. But instead he gets a bit tempted to take the pawn. Greedy Vidi in action. A little bit of greed there by Vidit. Jorden takes back the pawn. And of course now you must take. Otherwise black will go b4 and c5 and just continue with a good position. So he does take the pawn on b5. Knight takes b5 taken here. And Jorden pushes his pawn to c6. The knight has to go back. And look at the times. Vidit at 1 hour 11 minutes. Jorden 1 hour 25 minutes on the clock. So definitely Jorden is in his preparation. But is he out of his prep now? No, he goes pawn to e5. He's still quite well prepared. Knight goes to g3. And this really allows black to now push the pawn in the center with d5, and Jorden plays it. Look at the white king on e1. It's very weak right now. So Vidit plays bishop e2. He quickly wants to castle it out, which is the reason why he goes for this. And now pawn to h5. Another beautiful move, keeping the pressure intact in the center and trying to kick the knight away with h4. Vidit is surely being pushed to the limit. Pawn takes pawn taken here. And Jorden comes back. Look at Vidit's time, 33 minutes. Jorden takes with the knight. He has a massive time lead of 33 minutes. Knight takes d5. Well, knight takes d5 taken here. And now c takes on d5, bringing the pawn to the center. He plays short castles on the board here. And pawn to h4. The knight unfortunately doesn't have too many good squares to go to, so has to go back to h1. Knight h1, quite passively positioned here. Let's see what he plays. Rook e8, a very useful move, putting pressure here on the e file, attacking the bishop on e3 and on e2. Vidit can go rook e1, keeping all of his chances alive. The position is very balanced, but instead he goes bishop b5, and this is a mistake. This is a mistake because after e takes d4, which Jorden has taken, Vidit cannot go bishop takes d4 for the simple reason that queen a5 is an extremely powerful move. If you take here, I take on d4, otherwise I take on d4 and take on b5. That's a big problem. So that's the reason why Vidit goes bishop g5. Jorden very quickly brings his queen to b6, and now the bishop is attacked. So a4 played. But guys, black now has an incredibly strong move, and I don't know if Jorden can find it because it involves a piece sacrifice. He finds it. Bishop a6. What a move by Jorden van Foreest. He's going to give up this full piece here. Bishop takes d7, attacking the rook. Insane chess here shown by Jorden van Foreest. Now the rook wants to enter in. He's a full piece down here, black. Rook e2 on the board. Amazing play by Jorden. The queen has to move. And Vidit is definitely excited. He has 17 minutes. He goes queen d1. Jorden is better here. The engine says, even though you're a full piece down, you're doing well. Now threatening mate in 1. Rook takes g2. And knight comes to f2. Now notice, if you took bishop h3, the bishop would be misplaced. Later the rook can come to e8. So he goes knight f2, the best move. d3, I love this move. Absolutely love it. Queen pins the knight, threatening bishop d4. And Vidit being tested to the limit, he takes the pawn on h3. I like this move, but bd4 is just super strong. To defend this will be difficult after bishop h4. But instead he goes rook b2, a huge blunder by Jorden. He should have gone bishop d4 there, but instead takes on b2. And now black is not just given up the advantage, but is totally losing. Totally losing. Vidit can find the winning move here, rook b1. An amazingly strong move. Jorden had to go bishop d4. Bishop h4, queen d6, followed by queen f4 coming here, but instead he played this move, rook b2, and Vidit finds it. He finds the winning idea, rook b1. He takes off his jacket. Vidit has 7 minutes. He knows he can win this game. He knows that now everything is great. Jorden has to think now, even though he has 23 minutes on the clock, he could very well lose this game. He goes bishop d4, which is a logical move. But Jorden down to 3 minutes 56 seconds. Vidit takes. Queen takes on b2 by Van Foreest. And now queen d2 is a very strong move. Vidit finds it. He's now step by step fighting for the full point. Queen to b3 played, defending the pawn on d3. And Vidit comes back, bishop e3. I also love this move. He's offering a trade of bishops. And Jorden declines it and plays bishop c3. Queen d1 seems like the right move. Yes, finds it. Queen to d1. And queen comes back to c4. How should Vidit now continue next? I think a very good idea is to play bishop b5. Trade the bishops here even at the cost of a pawn. But he goes king g2. A useful move actually to maybe put the king out from g1. I don't know if that was needed. And d2 pushed here by Jorden. A good move now is to move the rook from f1 to g1. Yes, Vidit plays it. He's still winning here. And now queen to b4. So after Jorden had a winning position out of the early middle game, now he has a lost position. But with this move, Vidit is the one who's blundered big time. Jorden takes, and I believe already rook a1 is a super strong move. But Jorden finds another good move, rook e8. A lovely move, attacking the bishop. And the bishop cannot be easily protected. So Vidit now getting a bit nervous. He has 1 minute 10 seconds. Jorden has 3 minutes 45 seconds. The best move is surely something like knight g4. But instead he goes bishop g5. And now rook e1 is the absolute killing stroke. With that, black would have a huge advantage here, in spite of being a piece down. Will Jorden find this winning move in 3 minutes 45 seconds? I believe he can do it. But he doesn't. He plays f6, attacking the bishop. And now Vidit has a good move here. Well, instead of f6, rook e1 was pretty strong. But now with f6, he takes the pawn on d2. That's a good move to actually escape from this position. Bishop takes d2. He's given up the pawn. He's given up the bishop for a very important pawn. And queen b1 played, attacking the queen here and also the pawn on g6. He goes king f7. Comes up queen to d3. The position is equal right now. Bishop e3 on the board. And Vidit chops off the pawn with a check. And he goes king to g7. And rook f1 played here by Vidit. Somehow Vidit is managing to hang in there. Bishop takes knight. Rook takes. And now rook e5. A nice move, threatening the b5 pawn. and check. He goes king h6. And there's no way to save material here. f4 played. Can even go queen takes pawn maybe. He plays queen e4 check. King g1 played, and now rook to d5 played here, attacking the queen. Have to be super careful here. Is white queen g4. Both the kings are a bit weak here. But now Jorden picks up the pawn. Rook takes b5, and once that falls, the game is going to end in a draw. He goes queen f3. Check. King comes up. Threatening a checkmating attack on the last rank. The rook comes in to block the queen. Check. Now rook to f2 played here by Vidit, blocking the check. He goes rook b1, offers a draw. Vidit accepts it. Well, what a game we have had here. A draw. Vidit leans back in his chair. He knows that he has dodged a bullet today, but also would he know that he was winning at some point, and I think that would definitely make him feel a bit bad here. But still, what a game this was between these two players. It was a clash of style, and we got an absolute treat between Vidit Gujrathi and Jorden van Foreest. The second round will begin tomorrow. Both of them will be on half a point. I'll see you there on the second round. For now, this is Sagar Shah signing off. Bye bye. The move that was absolutely amazing was bishop a6 here by Jorden. Giving up a full knight and then bringing the rook in, and then h3. Knight f2, d3, all of this was impeccably played. I felt Vidit's pawn takes pawn was a great move because it got rid of the very dangerous pawn on h3. Now black had to be accurate, but instead took on b2, which turned out to be a fatal error. Should have played the move bishop d4. Threatening to win a piece, bishop h4 is forced. And now this move queen d6. Quite a tricky and tough move. So attacks the bishop goes back, you take, pawn takes, rook takes rook, queen takes rook, and now this very nice move queen f4 attacking the bishop goes back to g3, and queen takes f3, and this pin is very powerful with the d pawn rushing down the board, and so this would have been a great line. Instead, Jorden took this pawn, but after rook b1 found by Vidit, it was curtains. All of a sudden, it was white who was in the driver's seat, and then it was time for Vidit to blunder here after d2 attacking the rook. He played his rook to g1, and then this big mistake, because after take rook e8, threatening rook e1, it would be very strong. And so here bishop takes d2 was played, and now the game was simplified and ended in a draw.